Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to arguably my most anticipated book release reading vlog of the year. Yes, Intermezzo is here by Sally Rooney. This is Sally Rooney's fourth book. I'm speechless, okay? I am so excited to read this book. Like, I don't think that there is a singular more anticipated release. Well, Crescent City 3 was very anticipated, but I think this tops that. Especially since that one was a major disappointment. So in today's video, I am going to be vlogging my experience reading Intermezzo by Sally Rooney, and I am just so unbelievably excited. I know minimally what this book is about. I know it's about two brothers who live in Ireland and their father passed away, and I believe they are dealing with their grief. To be honest, I really don't want to know much more than that because I just want to experience this book for myself. I don't want anyone else's opinions of it. I just want to experience the book and read it and make my own opinion of this and not have any other outside world chatter. Before I picked the book up, I did listen to the New York Times, the Daily podcast. They interviewed Sally Rooney, not just about this book, but kind of about her writing career in general. And it made me so much more excited to pick this book up and even read it than I already was. If you haven't listened to that podcast yet and you like Sally Rooney, dear God, go listen to that podcast. I'm gonna leave it linked down below. I just love her. I just love her. I relate to her so much. I relate to her stories and her books and the way she explores characters and the way she just like can get in the mind of a millennial in our day and age. It's incredible. Full disclosure, I've actually read about 15 pages of the book before I started filming this video, and I must say, oh my God, those first few pages, I am back. Like, I have been revived. I almost cried. Sally Rooney is back and here. Like, she, I know I'm gonna cry in this book. I know this book is probably gonna be my favorite book of the year. It's going to have such an emotional impact on me. Like, I am so ready for, you have no idea, okay? Just get ready. So the day that I went to go pick this book up on release day, my Barnes & Noble was having a release party and a raffle. If you had bought Intermezzo on release day, you got to enter into a prize to win a signed copy of Beautiful World, Where Are You? So I was like, absolutely, yes, I'm gonna be doing that. And I won? Like, what? I won a signed copy of this book and I almost cried when I went and picked it up. Like, I'm literally not even kidding you. And they also had fun little giveaway things as well. So I'm having a great week. This is gonna be a great vlog. I am ready to be emotionally destroyed by Intermezzo. Let's get to reading. Hi, it is time for my first check-in. Two things I want to say. First of all, I know I hate me too. I literally hate these headbands. Anytime I see an influencer, anyone wearing one of these headbands, I literally irks me. Why did I get one? Because the bangs are just not, they're just not banging. I literally hate these things and I just need to buy a different headband, okay? Please don't judge me. I have just spent the last 2 hours reading and annotating the first 80 pages of this book. Also, I'm sick, by the way. That sucks. I have been reading this book for the last 2 hours and I couldn't help but annotate it. The writing is spectacular. I think this is some of Sally Rooney's best writing. It is absolutely perfect. The writing styles almost differ between the two point of view characters we're going back and forth between. So let me just give a recap on the story. We're following two brothers, Peter and Ivan. Peter is the older brother by like 10 years or something like that. He's like in his mid-30s. He's a lawyer, and these two brothers, their dad passed away like right away. They're at the funeral in the first scene of the book. And basically the book is following them through their grief, which I've already cried, okay? Basically from Peter's point of view, The writing style is very stream of conscious. It's very short, clipped sentences. It's like those like montages in like a romance movie or something like that, where it's just like boom, 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 and you're like getting all of these flashes of moments throughout this person's or these people's lives, and it's creating this like huge like feeling in your chest of like passion and like love and like sadness and like grief and like desire all within the 30-second span. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, do you guys remember when the Taylor Swift Fortnite music video was getting released and there was like a little small clip of like just seeing flashes of the scenes? That's exactly how the writing style feels when she is writing Peter's point of view. And it is so beautiful. Like, oh my God, I started to tear up in these last few sentences from the last point of view paragraph that we had from him. It's just, it is beautiful and it's heartbreaking. You really experience what he's feeling in these moments, and it's the way that she's writing his point of view is so raw and so just like open, and I feel him, like I feel his perspective. It's stunning to me the way that she is doing this. And then on the contrary, we have Ivan, who is a chess prodigy. He is a very scrawny kid who doesn't have a lot of friends. He's not necessarily an outcast. He just is not like the most social human being on the planet. He tends not to understand emotional cues very well, and you can tell that he has to like think about the way that he reacts to certain situations. It feels like he is on a spectrum of some sort, and maybe that's over diagnosing something or like being overly presumptive, but it definitely feels like he kind of like savant-like in the sense that he's this like chess prodigy, okay? Literally the first chapter we got from him, he is a singular player playing 10 games of chess simultaneously with 10 different people, and he's in this competition just walking around playing chess on each board and just like continuing to rotate until he beats everyone in the group. He clearly is on another like level than most people. He has a very high IQ and he's an extremely intelligent individual, but he has some social inadequacies. Very two different characters. Like Peter is definitely this kind of guy who's like traditionally really good looking, gets really beautiful women, has a very successful life on the outside, but secretly he's actually really depressed and has a substance abuse problem. And then Ivan is totally on the opposite side of the spectrum, like 10 years younger than him, not super socially like inclined in that way, and like way more on like, he's literally on another level with his intelligence and kind of on like the savant spectrum of stuff. And again, like I said, you're following them through their grief and how they're coping with their father's death. And we really have not gotten a lot into like the inner workings of how each of these people are feeling about their father's death right now. You're seeing the actions play out and like how they are trying to cope with the grief, whether that's through drugs or women or trying to get lost in certain situations, but they really haven't confronted these feelings that they have about their dad yet. So I'm sure we're going to get more of that as I continue on. But this book I can't put it down. I've literally been just straight reading it for 2 hours. I keep highlighting things. I keep underlining things. The writing is just like take your breath away, stunning. And I have high hopes for this. I mean, it's going to be hard to be more normal people, but I mean, I'm already really, really loving it. And I'm really interested to see how the perspectives of these characters is going to change throughout the book and how I'm going to become emotionally attached to them because I've already cried. Okay, I need to go to bed. I need to heal. My throat feels it's like it's on fire, and hopefully the next time I check in with you, I'm gonna be feeling a little bit better. I am honestly living my best reading life right now. This book is absolutely everything that I want, and I hope that it's gonna be my best book of the year. I really do. Okay, see you in the next clip. Bye. Hello friends, welcome me back to the vlog. It's honestly been probably like a week, maybe, since I updated you on this. Honestly, I don't even remember the last time I checked in. I was very busy over the weekend. My sister-in-law got married and that was the entire weekend. And I honestly have not read like a ton over the past week, but I am on page 142. So I really don't remember the last time I checked in, but I'm there, okay? Few little updates. I am still literally loving this book. Obviously I am reading this slower, but Again, life is getting in the way for me right now. I don't have a lot of time to physically read. This does not take away from any of the reading experience I'm having. I am truly, truly loving this book. I am annotating it. I really don't annotate that many books, but I feel like I found a system that feels not too like time consuming for me, because I feel like that's something that really puts a barrier to annotating. Is I just feel like it takes me like literally double the time to read a book if I'm annotating it. But I've basically chosen like 3 different colors for annotating, one for Peter, one for Ivan, and then one for Margaret. And I'm basically just like any quote or any line or anything that stands out to me during those sections of each of those characters' chapters, I'm just highlighting it or underlining it, and I feel like it's working well. Like, I'm not getting annoyed annotating as I'm reading. The quotes in this book. This is some of Sally Rooney's best writing. She is at the top of her game right now, and I feel like this book is just showcasing that in its entirety. I love the juxtaposition between the characters Peter and Ivan. Like, they're brothers and they are literally kind of like living almost opposite lives. You know, one of them is a very outgoing, he's just like very socially inclined. Like, he can make friends really easily. He can hit on women really easily. He is a big shot lawyer. He is like, you know, he's kind of like that golden boy, but at the same time, he's really struggling with his mental health and like struggling internally. And he's also like struggling in his relationships. He is currently like dating kind of 2 different people. He's seeing someone who is much, much younger than him, who is someone who makes money. I don't know if she's necessarily a sex worker, but she's like someone who has like an OnlyFans, okay? And then he's also kind of seeing someone more of like a friendship / platonic relationship kind of with this woman he used to date romantically, who now has chronic pain, and she is going through a bunch of treatments, and they're almost kind of like just people who are there for each other, and sometimes it can turn a little bit romantic and sometimes not, but they're just really more of friends, and he is supporting her through this really difficult time in her life. But there's also some blurred lines with that relationship too. And then you have on the opposite spectrum Ivan, who is a very socially awkward human being, and he is now interested in this woman he met who is a solid 10-12 years older than him, and they have this like blossoming romance, and he's never had anything like this before, and it's really, really cool to see him start to thrive in that sense. That's the storyline that is my favorite so far. I think Peter's will grow on me, and I think he has a lot of self-discovery to do and a lot of reflection. He's very depressed right now. He has a problem with prescription medication, and I just know that like he has a big character arc to make throughout this book, and I feel like that will be a storyline that it will be intriguing down the line to me. But right now Ivan is capturing my heart. I feel like I really have a soft spot for him, and it's cool to see him kind of like thrive in this scenario, and that seems so out of his comfort zone right now. And I really like the relationship between him and Margaret, and it just feels so normal almost, even though it doesn't seem normal on the outside. The other thing that I wanted to mention aside from the characters is we're starting to get discussion about like housing insecurity too, which I think is a really interesting topic to bring up, because it's literally something that is so present within our world. Like, especially in the US, there is a huge housing crisis right now, and it makes you really think about your housing situation. And if you have a great housing situation, how blessed you are to have a great housing situation. If the story is continuing the way it's continuing, could I like it more than normal people? Who knows? But I think there's a good possibility. So yeah, I unfortunately did have a blunder with it this weekend. I was in this wedding over the past weekend, and I brought it to the getting ready part of the day, and then I had it in my backpack, and I tried to put something on top of it, and I like ripped the dust jacket, and like, screw me, I do this all the time. I rip the dust jackets or spill coffee on them, or like, I don't know. I just have a problem with keeping things in pristine condition. But yeah, so I will probably check in around the halfway point next, and I just hope that we continue the good vibes, continue the great reading. See you in the next clip. Bye. finally back to this video. You guys, it's been a hot minute. Okay, a hot minute. TBH, I have been in a very tough place mentally and personally, and it's probably been at least 2 weeks since I updated you in this vlog. Well, here's the thing. I'm going through some personal things with my life. I'm trying to sort some things out personally. Nothing's bad, okay? It's just my soul is a little tossed and tangled at the moment. And then I ended up starting 2 other books and totally put this book on the back burner. And then I picked this book back up today and I read 80 pages of it in one sitting. And so I wanted to continue the vlog. Okay, to be honest with you, I almost said this vlog is a no-go. It's taking too long to film. No one's gonna be interested. I don't know, I was just going through the little demons in my head and thinking that no one would care. But I'm gonna push through, okay? I'm gonna push through because this book is honestly so amazing. And the only reason I wanted to stop with this video was honestly just my personal things that have been going on in my life and just having a really difficult time motivating myself to sit down and film or edit or just do any sort of hobby that I love, because I've just really been, going through it. I've just been going through it, to be honest with you. And I'm not really looking for sympathy. I'm just trying to explain what's going on in this vlog, okay? So back to the book, back to the subject at hand. I am in love with this book. It's so good. It's so good. And also this book is shorter than I thought. This book in total, the amount of pages in this are 500, but I think it ends around 420 or 425 or something like that. So I think I'm at least 2/3 of the way through. The dynamics of these brothers, it's so real. It's so real. And I just applaud Sally Rooney so much for displaying a complicated familial relationship in this book. I feel like a lot of times, yes, there are times where I read books where, 2 family members might not have the most picture perfect relationship or whatever, but I really feel like the way she is portraying Ivan and Peter's relationship and the relationship that each of them have with their mother and the relationship that they had with their father, it is so real. But at the same time, while some of these relationships, especially the relationship between Peter and Ivan, they're going through a really, really tough time right now where they're not talking to each other, and they've really never had this amazing relationship. They tried to get together at one point in the book and have a dinner together, and it just went terrible. It went terribly wrong. Each person said some very hurtful things to one another. And, that happens sometimes in life. That happens in life. And I just really love how Sally Rooney is not making this a straight line of start here in the book and you know where you're going. The book is weaving back and forth, and the relationship is ebbing and flowing throughout the book between Peter and Ivan. And we really don't know a whole ton about the relationship that each of them have with their dad. You really only know a little bit of surface level. Ivan seems to have had a very, very close relationship with his dad, but Peter has not. And that's starting to come into play a little bit more. Despite all of the adversities that these brothers are having with each other, Sally Rooney is truly portraying how humans love. And it's so beautiful and heartbreaking all at the same time. I need to read this quote to you. I need to read this quote because I actually cried when I read this. This is set in Ivan's perspective. The quote is, "Life itself, he thinks, every moment of life is as precious and beautiful as any game of chess ever played. If only you know how to live." Cried. Another one. "Yes, the world makes room for goodness and decency, he thinks. And the task of life is to show goodness to others, not to complain about their failings." Sally Rooney just dropping bombs. Those quotes were more so related to life and our meaning of life rather than love. But we are getting a ton of examples of love from these 2 men. Ivan, again, in the relationship with Margaret, it's not even naivete. It's just the way that he is looking at love with Margaret through this lens of like beauty and joy and like this pure sense of like wonder he has with her. It's so beautiful. It's like just like the remember the first time you fell in love. That's what she's describing in the book when how Ivan is processing love and like how he is feeling love. And then Peter, he has a difficult relationship with a few women in this book. He's kind of like playing the field a little bit. He has this woman who is a college student and a huge age gap between the two, and you're seeing their relationship play out, but also Peter has this longing for a girlfriend he used to have who's still very much in his life and in Ivan's life. Peter had this very long relationship with this woman named Sylvia. The way that he portrays love towards her in this book is so honestly heartbreaking. It's like he's just there for her. He's there for her when she needs him. He doesn't like push boundaries. He's very respectful towards her, and you just know that he has a deep, deep love for her. And life is beautiful. Love is beautiful. Sally Rooney just truly portrays the beauty in complex relationships, and even though we may struggle to communicate with the ones we love, there's still a deep-seated, deep down feeling of love we have for one another and like respect that we have for life. And it's beautiful, okay? I'm just absolutely in awe of this book. I think this is some of her best writing. I'm not even kidding you. It's so incredibly amazing. But yeah, I think that's all I have for this update. I'm absolutely in love with it. I'll probably do another few check-ins before I actually finish the book, but I just wanted to give that update because I think I've probably read 100 pages since I last checked in. Okay, I'm gonna go make dinner. Sorry I haven't uploaded a video in like 3 weeks. I'm going through it. Hi guys, okay, update again on Intermezzo. So I have about 75 pages left. I stayed up till like 11:30 on a work night reading, which is literally way later than I normally stay up. I was hooked in the scene that I left off on. I don't want to like say, obviously, I guess spoilery things. There's really not like spoilers to this book. If you've read any of Sally Rooney's books before, there's not like plot, right? It's really just character studies about people going through relationships, having communication problems, having, you know, issues with the world, that kind of stuff. There has been kind of a culmination between Peter and Ivan in their relationship. Like I said, they've gone through a really hard time where they haven't talked to each other. And now there was this moment of confrontation between the two, and I was crying. I had tears flowing. These two have such a hard time almost like handling their pride when it comes to trying to express to the other how they feel about the other person. Ivan will start to say something and then it gets like cut off or something, and then things get miscommunicated or things go unsaid, and then Peter will assume something about Ivan that's necessarily not true, and like it's just like this endless cycle. And again, that's something that happens a lot with Sally Rooney's books. It was something that happened in Normal People where it's like if you guys just talk to each other, you would not have this entire book happen. Like you guys could solve all your problems with just like 2 conversations or 1 conversation. And that's kind of exactly what's happening also in Intermezzo. Like a lot of this could be solved if they were to just talk to one another like adults, but they can't. But that's what I really enjoy about these books, is that it feels very human to not be able to say exactly what's on your mind. It's hard sometimes to say these really difficult feelings or emotions that someone is going through. And I think Sally Rooney highlights that very well. And I think, you know, there may be some people who are out there who are just like, just say how you feel, like who cares? But sometimes it's a lot more difficult than that, and nuanced and more complicated than just being like, you know, saying exactly how you feel to another person. No matter if that's romantic or familial relationship, like whoever it is, there can be so many different layers as to why someone doesn't want to say exactly how they're feeling, or it can be too hard for them, or they may not even know exactly how they're feeling because they need therapy, you know? Like they don't even know what emotions they're trying to process, and instead they're just likely just, you know, acting in a way that their body thinks that they need to act, out of violence, out of you know, hate, out of like just irrational behavior, if that makes any sense. I do think this is gonna be a book that sits with me much, much longer than just the singular time reading it. I think I'm gonna think about Peter and Ivan so much more after I read the book. And it's going to be a book that just continues to resonate and builds upon my love for as I get farther away from this book, which those are my favorite kind of books. I mean, literally, I think about A Little Life every single day. I really think I'm going to probably give this book a 5-star. I guess it doesn't necessarily like feel like, oh my God, 5-star feels. I guess in that, it does, but it's just like more of a 5. It's like a slow burn 5-star. It's just like, you know, one of those 5 stars that just like, it sits with you for a long time. You know, this book basically feels like if Normal People was a familial relationship rather than a romantic relationship. Like the miscommunication tropes, the depth of each of the characters, the difficulty expressing each other's emotions, all of those things are just put into Peter and Ivan. And I don't want that to come off as like, oh, it's just a rinse and repeat, because it's absolutely not. I feel like you can see Sally Rooney has grown so much from her writing of Normal People and learned so much about the world that she has put into this book, and it is so worth a read. Really looking forward to my final update on it. Just know I'm probably gonna give it 5 stars. See you in the next update. Hi guys, I'm like, I just got done crying because this book, I haven't finished it yet. Sorry, I'm trying to be quiet. Reed's trying to sleep, but like I have like 60 pages left. Ivan's processing his grief and we've known this is gonna come. The way she put into words exactly how it feels to lose someone that you love so much. That doesn't happen very often, where I find myself resonating so deeply with the character. I don't even want to read the quotes because I feel like those are spoilers in the sense that they're like such great lines and such great insights and such deep questions about how grief affects you. And like I've thought those things in my life as well. Like it's just beautiful, just stunning, beautiful. Sally Rooney, thank you. Thank you for putting into words what is so difficult to put into words. I'll be back when I'm done with the book. Hello everyone. Guys, I finished it. I finished it last night. I mean, it's 5 stars, obviously, duh. I have been saying it's 5 stars the whole time. The ending was perfect. It was perfect. Wait, no. There was one part on Peter's side that I wasn't obsessed with. I don't want to say anything because that would actually spoil it. One portion of Peter's wrapped up end of story was something that I was not like super enthused about, but it was kind of just like, okay, whatever. I cried at least 2 more times finishing the book last night. I think that this, it could challenge Normal People as my favorite Sally Rooney. I really loved it. I feel like I've expressed all of my opinions about this book as I've been reading it to you, and I really don't feel like I have anything else to add other than what I've said already. This book just truly encompasses the difficulties of going through grief and how sometimes our subconscious can lead us to do things that might be outside of our characters in those really difficult times of our lives. It felt so real to me, as I've said the entire time. I feel like the family dynamics between Ivan and Peter were so real. And I feel like she just knows how to write characters that have a lot of internal conflict and have a lot of difficulty expressing how they're feeling to the people around them. One of my first thoughts after completing this book was, damn, I wish this was going to be turned into a TV show. I know it's not. She said it's not going to be. And she said she's kind of done with that era of having her books get sold into film or TV. I am okay with that because the way that the internal dialogues of these characters bring so much to the book than the actual dialogue that these characters express to one another. You know, you can read entire page-long paragraphs about what the characters are going through in their head, but when they really speak to the other person that they're talking to, it's literally like 3-word sentences, and it could be hard to effectively portray that on like a film screen. But a lot of the best quotes in here were narration or like commentary in between dialogue scenes and stuff like that. So I feel like the book is where it's at. Read the book. Sally Rooney's at the top of her game with this one, and there's no denying it. Like, I think this is going to be the best book I read this year. Definitely out of all of Sally Rooney's books, this one is my second favorite in comparison to Normal People. I can't knock Normal People off the top tier yet. You know, like that's been one of my favorite books of all time. This one can't come sweeping in right now. But if this story sits with me for a long time, I think this could have potential of being my favorite. Like truly, it is just phenomenal. Sally Rooney, I just love you. I love you so much. Thank you for existing while I'm existing. It's incredible. Okay, I feel like I have nothing else to say about this book other than go read it if you like Sally Rooney and you like contemporary literary fiction about sad people going through sad things. Let me know your thoughts if you've read this book down below. I would absolutely love to have a discussion in the comments about what you thought as well, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hope you guys have a good day. Peace and love, everyone. Bye!